Hey guys, what's going on? It's RV Productions, and I'm back with another video. A little bit different. We've camera now. Wait, do we have the budget for a camera? So what you're seeing on the screen right now is my Twitter. I've pretty much gotten all this information from Twitter. As you can tell from the title, what we're talking about today is Blackout. With the beta about to come out, we're gonna talk about some things that I see, some things that I thought my first impressions going through, and so we might as well just go ahead and get into that. The first picture we see right here is the map, and as you can see, it has a few locations. I believe 13. Yes, 13 sites that are named. My first impressions going into this, I know that the amount is 60 people that are going to be put into the map. That is what they're going with the beta. I don't know if it'll change. It may change going into the final game, but for now, going into the beta, it will be 60 people. My first thoughts going into it are, is there enough loot? As someone that does not drop on, as someone that plays other Battle Royale games, I do not drop quite that much at high octane spots. I will when I'm by myself, but when I'm playing with friends and we're trying to win, we don't drop at high octane spots. So my first question and thought is there going to be enough loot? Only 13 spots for 60 people on a map, and you've got to think that not all of those spots are going to have a lot of loot. Maybe estates might not have too much, or fracking tower from the pictures, we'll get into that after this, didn't look like it had too many buildings. So I'm curious, how's the loot gonna be, because outside of those named places, there's not a lot of like groupings of buildings. There's the occasional 2 or 3, but looking at the map, there's only like 2-3 spots that are more than like 3 buildings. You might be able to see my dog in the back, excuse her. She's just chilling. I was also thinking, maybe some of these places on the edge are going to be low traffic too, to where you are going to be able to drop there and get loot and not have to worry about too many people. Places like maybe Turbine or Hydro Dam or estates that are along the outside, or even Asylum that are along the outside, that may not get a lot of traffic going through. So those are very good possibilities. And looking at it, it feels more like a Fortnite map than a PUBG map, because PUBG, they focus on those named places and a lot less of those kind of just secondary spots. PUBG has a lot of those secondary spots that you have the named places and the secondary spots that are still good for loot. So in that aspect, I kind of feel like it's more shaped towards Fortnite in the aspect that they're trying to speed the game up, which is obvious because it's a Call of Duty spin on Battle Royale. So I'm interested to see how they do with that. And another thing I want to draw attention to is, if you look where my mouse is, if you can see my mouse, I forget if it's recording with it or not, down here there is a road at the bottom, and that road at the bottom makes me believe that there is space for DLC or for an add-on to the map whenever they update it. Because one thing to keep in mind is that Treyarch wants this game to go for 3 years. They want to be the first Call of Duty that is relevant for all 3 years. Black Ops 3, I guess you could say for the first 2 it was relevant, and even World War II it was still, played some, but I didn't play Infinite Warfare. I didn't like Infinite Warfare. I stuck to Black Ops 3 whenever I did play, and World War II I played some, but Black Ops 3 was a better game. I think Black Ops 4, they're trying to make it go all 3 years, so I would not be surprised to see them continuously adding in locations or rearranging locations even. I wouldn't be surprised by that. Those roads at the bottom, there's even one that goes along the bottom to the other side that exits out on screen, so we'll see how they do with that. The first picture I want to get into here, it is a picture of I'm guessing what is named Turbine, taken after the Turbine map from Black Ops 2. Originally, looking at the picture, my first thoughts were Afghan from MW2, but it seems to be Turbine, or just outside of Turbine on Black Ops 2. And other than that, I don't really have much to add to it. It doesn't really show much. You see like a factory in the background, but outside of that, it's nothing worthy of like a lot of loot and whatnot. The second picture also goes with turbine, I believe. If you remember on that Black Ops 2 map, the plane was crashed in the middle, and then as you went down it, you saw the bridge go overhead, and that's what this looks like. So nothing really much to add with the map. We do get a look at the ATVs here, and you know, it's nothing that special. We only see one person riding it, but I believe in the trailer they released much earlier, you know, you saw when they originally announced Blackout, you saw as it built the graphics that it was someone sitting on the front and the back. So I'm interested to see if they decided to change that or if it's going to be the same. We'll see. Now the third picture here is interesting. If you look in the background, it looks like it is those south docks on the east or the west side of that map. I forget what it's called. It has a name. It might be just cargo. But I'll explain more about that area later. But as we see, we can see, the first thing I want to bring attention to is that truck right there. We see someone driving it, and one thing that I found interesting was, or I thought was, what are they going to do for those trucks? Or how are they going to drive? Is it going to be a lot of people in the back? How many people can it carry? It looks like this. You're going to be able to put one in the front and a passenger in the driver in the front and a passenger in the front. And I'm guessing at least one or two people in the back who are going to be able to stand up and shoot. It'll be interesting to see if they can just duck down and stay in there hidden if they're being shot at, but we don't know. Working our way from right to left, we see a specialist from Black Ops 3, and I believe she's in Black Ops 4, but I'm not 100% certain on that. So when they first announced that they were doing all like the Black Ops universe characters, the specialist didn't really come to my head when thinking about Blackout, but right here we see that they will include specialist characters in Blackout. A question that comes to mind is, will they have specialist abilities, and will it be for all characters or not? I doubt that. I think it's just going to be your normal characters doing whatever, and not much to add to that. I believe it looks like she's holding a VMP, but I'm not certain on that. And right here, the main thing in this picture that I want to talk about is the character right here in the front. I do not know his name off the top of my head. It may be a new character, it may be an old character. I do not recognize him. He is holding a flamethrower. Flamethrowers are going to be available in the game. It'll be interesting to see if they come from care packages, I'm guessing. You know how PUBG has airdrops and so does Fortnite. I'm guessing we're going to have care packages that come as the game progresses through in each game. And I'm guessing it's going to be a supply drop weapon that you can get. I'm interested to see if you can burn buildings now. We see the ATV on fire in the background. It looks like either the truck or something behind the truck is on fire. But I wonder if you can burn through things with this flamethrower. It'll be interesting to see, certainly. So we will. We don't know anything based off this picture yet, but we'll find out as the beta releases. The next picture that's shown here looks like construction site. The first time I looked at it and then saw the map, I figured it was Frack Tower, but I changed my mind on that looking at it because at Frack Tower there's not really anywhere for water to be in the background that close. Construction site, there is the dams back behind it, so I believe this is construction site. It looks like it's going to be a hot spot for loot. It's got all those floors, I'm guessing, which will have loot. You may not be able to go inside the building though. It may be all on that roof right there, and then down below, and that car park that is off to the left right there. But I know that they've talked about you should be able to wingsuit off of the top of that building to just drop, get loot, and get the hell out. It'll be interesting to see. I believe that'll be a hot spot though, a big hot spot for loot. And I was looking at it. I've been every screenshot I tried to connect with something from the Black Ops universe and maps. The only thing I can recognize is from campaign on Black Ops 3. I don't recognize it as a multiplayer map, but I could be wrong. It could be a multiplayer map, so we'll see. I don't know how much the loot's going to be there, how good it's going to be. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think it'll be a big hotspot. I think it'll be a good drop if you are trying to start off the game slowly, and you know, you may have one of the group squad up there. But other than that, it'll be interesting to see how that is. I don't know how relevant it'll be in total. Here we have Nuketown Island. I don't know how Nuketown Island's gonna be. There's not a lot of buildings right there, so I don't know how good the loot's gonna be there. I don't see anything on the ground, so I don't know. I would have thought that they would have taken a PUBG approach to make it a sort of more. I would have thought they would have taken a PUBG approach to make it more popular. Drop like military base on PUBG. So adding more loot there's probably more buildings there, as you can see in the background, and there's probably buildings back behind this picture that have more loot in them to make it more of a popular spot. So it could be a hot drop. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Here we see a picture of the cargo area. If you look in the background, you see the cargo map. We get a look at a helicopter here. But the thing I'm most interested about is that boat. Is that boat full of loot? Will you be able to go down inside it and get loot? It could be a hot spot. Cargo could be a hot spot. It's obviously based off of the cargo map from Black Ops 2. It'll also be interesting to see how that part of the map plays. Here we have a Ray. It'll be a decent spot. It'll probably be like Frack Tower, like a good underrated spot to drop that you might have like 2 or 3 other squads drop there, but not a terrible hot spot to drop at. This also made me curious. I was wondering how they were going to make all these maps flow into one big map, especially when a lot of them from different biomes. I see they went ahead and just went with a whole savannah vibe with it and remodeled it a little bit, so it resembled parts of the map, but it's different in a way. So I like that. I think they did a good job on that. Here we have Asylum. Asylum is interesting. I believe it is Verrucht added in, and they just named it Asylum. I don't remember if Verrucht had a maze. I believe that maze is tribute to Dig, and it's obviously inspired from the zombies universe of Black Ops, as are characters in here. And they also added in Farm from Black Ops 2 zombies. One thing I'm very interested in to see is Easter eggs. Are there going to be any Easter eggs in these maps? Because if you play zombies, you know they love their Easter eggs. Also, it raises the question, because we see a picture of a zombie or zombies, how are they going to be implemented? Are they going to be in certain sections of the map, or are they going to be the storm? That's the thing I've thought the whole time, is that for the storm, it's going to be a swarm of zombies just coming in and getting closer and closer. I think that would be very interesting. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we'll find out when the beta drops. The last picture I want to talk about, not terribly significant. It looks like it's the unnamed place outside of Turbine on that river where it curls. We see the boat. We see, it doesn't really show us much. I saw on Twitter where it was announced that the boat only carries one person. Obviously, this shows differently, where one person can drive and one person can stand in it. I wonder if you can fit more people in it, but only one person can actually sit in it. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm saying interesting a lot because, none of this, we're just going based off these pictures, and obviously all of it's going to be very interesting when Blackout drops. Other than that, that's all I have for this. These are all the pictures I could find on Twitter, and we'll go back to the map one last time, just get a final look at it. Here it is. We get to see some, but not all of it. Fire and Range looks like it's going to be a big spot. So does construction site, and we didn't get to see train station. That I don't know what map that might be based off of, but any feedback and anything that you know or might want to add, put it in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed. If you're still here, subscribe, and like I said, follow me on Twitter at @ProductionsRVA. Other than that, I'm done here.